Sup guys, it's Alex here, and it is time to fill out my 2016 NCAA Tournament bracket video. I've done it in 2013, 14, and 15. They've all been pretty popular, and a lot of people have been able to get some tips and tricks from it. So let's go ahead and start with 2016. Hopefully you guys will be able to learn something new, or I might even be able to help you pick the right winners of this tournament. So let's go ahead and start with it. Number 1 overall seed, Kansas against Austin Peay. That's going to be easy, Kansas. And sorry for the different colored fonts. There's blue and black. My ink went out whenever I was writing the brackets down over there. So, Colorado, Connecticut. It's a good 8-9 matchup, but I'm going to have to go with UConn. They're currently on a huge momentum streak. 4-overtime game against Cincinnati, and then won their conference championship. Maryland and South Dakota State. Going to go Maryland there. California, Hawaii. California, they have Jaylen Brown and Ivan Webb and I don't even know how to pronounce his last name, but we're going to go with Cal there. Arizona and Vanderbilt / Wichita State, which is our first play-in game. We're going to go Wichita State or Vanderbilt. I think Wichita State's going to beat Vanderbilt, then upset Arizona. That's the first upset of the tournament so far. Miami, Florida, and Buffalo. I'm going to have to go with Miami, Florida here. Buffalo just hasn't impressed me too much. They won their conference championship, but that's not good enough. Iowa and Temple. This is going to be a good 7-10 matchup. Temple was one of the bubble teams, Iowa too. But Iowa is going to walk out of there with the W. They beat Michigan State twice earlier in the season. Villanova, UNC Asheville. That's easy. Villanova is going to win there. So in the next region, we have Oregon as the number 1 seed. That very much surprised me. But we're going to go with Oregon. That's an easy W right there. St. Joseph, Cincinnati. Cincinnati, they're a really good mid-major team, but I have to go with St. Joseph's. They won the I think it was the A10 conference championship, so I'm going to have to go with St. Joe's there, getting that 8-seed W. Baylor and Yale. Yale, first NCAA tournament appearance since 1962, but I'm going to have to go with Baylor here. They've been playing really well all season long and have a lot more RPI top 50 wins than Yale. Duke and UNC Wilmington, going to have to go with Duke. I can see UNC Wilmington pulling off the upset there, but I don't think it's going to happen. Northern Iowa and Texas. This could be one of the picks for an upset. Northern Iowa beat North Carolina as a number 1 seed earlier in the year. In some brackets, I'll probably have them. I'm going to have to, actually, against Texas, I'm going to go with Northern Iowa. I think they might pull off the upset there. That's one of the big picks for me. Texas A&M, Green Bay. Texas A&M made it to the championship game of the SEC and lost to Kentucky, so I'm going to have to go with them. VCU and Oregon State, not in that order. I'm going to have to go VCU. They made it to the championship of the A10 against St. Joe's, and Oregon State with Gary Payton II. He could go off, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Oklahoma, California State, Bakersfield. Going to have to go with Oklahoma right there. So that's the first half of the bracket. Second half, here we go. North Carolina against the winner of Florida Gulf Coast and Fairleigh Dickinson. Florida Gulf Coast had that nice Sweet 16 run there a couple years ago, but I'm going to have to go with North Carolina winning. USC and Providence, I'm going to go with Providence. They beat Villanova earlier in the year, and USC just doesn't have that win that makes me go, wow. Indiana and Chattanooga, I'm going to have to go with Indiana here. They had a really excellent regular season, but then lost in the first game of their tournament, but I think they're going to end up getting the W there. UK and Stony Brook, going to have to go with UK, the SEC champions, which sets up a beautiful Indiana-UK matchup. More on that later. Notre Dame and Michigan, because I think they're going to beat Tulsa. Going to have to go with Notre Dame here. They beat Duke earlier in the year. I think they beat them earlier in the year. They beat Louisville too, and then they beat Duke in the tournament. West Virginia and Stephen F. Austin, that could be an upset pick, but I will go with West Virginia on that one. Wisconsin, Pittsburgh, I honestly don't know who to pick there, but I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh going with the upset. Neither team impressed me this year, so I'm just going to go ahead and go with the upset. Why not let it fly? That's an R right there, you can't see. Xavier and Weber State, going to go with Xavier. Weber State doesn't have a Damian Lillard type player, so Xavier's going to get the W there. Virginia and Hampton, 1 seed versus 16. Obviously going to have to go with Virginia. Texas Tech and Butler, that's a good 8-9 matchup. Both teams were a bubble team, but I have to go with Tubby Smith and the Texas Tech Raiders, I think. Red Raiders? Yeah, I think that's their name. Purdue and and Arkansas Little Rock, going to have to go with Purdue. That could be an upset too, but Purdue made it to the Big Ten championship game. Almost won it against Michigan State. And then Iowa State and Iona. I'm actually going with an upset here. Iona will beat Iowa State. Iowa State lost to UAB in the first round last year. I had them going to the Final Four in my bracket. Then Seton Hall, Gonzaga. Gonna have to go with Seton Hall. They won the Big East Championship over Villanova. They're on a huge momentum streak right now. Then Utah and Fresno State. That's another upset that I have. I have Fresno State beating Utah. That's 2 upsets within one side of the bracket. That's going to be crazy. Dayton and Syracuse. I don't think Syracuse should have gotten in, so I'm going to go with Dayton. Syracuse has lost 5 of their last 6 games. Then in the final game, Michigan State's going to beat Middle Tennessee. So there's the first round. Hopefully you guys agreed with me, or if you have your own picks and you think I should have put a different team in, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. So then Kansas and Utah make it to the Sweet 16. UConn, not Utah. I'm going to have to go with Kansas. UConn could win. They're on a huge momentum streak. Then California and Maryland have to go with California. Jaylen Brown and all of them, they're on a huge momentum streak. I don't know. Wichita State, Miami, Florida. Going with Miami, Florida on this one. But I can see Wichita State, Ron Baker, Fred VanVleet, and all of them. Van Vliet. Iowa and Villanova. I'm going with the upset here. I'm putting Iowa over Villanova. That's going to be a great game in itself. I'd like to see who wins that, because Villanova could win, Iowa could win. I'm going with the upset there. Oregon St. Joe is going to have to go with the 1 seed Oregon. Baylor and Duke. Duke just has no bench whatsoever. I think Baylor is going to wear them out and move on to the Sweet 16. Northern Iowa, Texas A&M. Northern Iowa's Cinderella run's going to end there. A&M is going to make it to the Sweet 16, not Final Four. Oklahoma and VCU. Oklahoma is going to make it there. Shaka Smart isn't coaching VCU anymore, but if he was coaching VCU, they could have possibly made it to the Sweet 16 and pulled off the upset. North Carolina and Providence, going to have to go with North Carolina on that one. Indiana and UK, they refuse to play each other in the regular season, but isn't it funny how they meet up in the postseason, the NCAA Tournament? Going to have to go with UK. Huge momentum streak right now. That's what I say a lot, but that's true. SEC champions, Notre Dame and West Virginia. Going to go with West Virginia, and then Pittsburgh Xavier. I think Pittsburgh's going to pull off the upset over Xavier and move on to the Sweet 16, if I can spell Pittsburgh right. What, Virginia and Texas Tech, going to have to go with Virginia there. Malcolm Brogdon's going to lead them to the Sweet 16. Purdue and Iona, Purdue is going to advance past that one. Seton Hall and Fresno State, going to go Seton Hall. Then Dayton and Michigan State. I think Michigan State's going to easily pull off the win there against Dayton. So now there's my Sweet 16 teams. Now it is time to go to the Elite 8. Who do we have going? Kansas and California. I'm actually going to have an upset here. I think California might beat Kansas, even though Kansas might make it to the national championship game. They might even win the national championship. I'm going to go with the upset there. I think California can beat Kansas. They have more talent than Kansas does. Kansas plays like a better team, but that is a huge upset right there that I have. Miami, Florida, and Iowa. I think Miami, Florida is going to win that one. And then Oregon, Baylor. I think Oregon's going to win that. That's going to be a game of the neon teams. They have neon jerseys. A&M, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. I think Buddy Hield's going to lead them past the very physical Texas A&M, but I can easily see Texas A&M winning that one. North Carolina and UK. Oh man, this is a game that I really want to see. I think UK is going to pull off the upset there. They're finally coming into form after having a terrible regular season, but didn't live up to expectations. North Carolina's having an excellent season, but I think their run's going to end there. West Virginia and Pittsburgh. I'm going to go with West Virginia there, making it to the Elite 8. Virginia and Purdue. I'm going to have to go with Virginia on this one, though I can see Purdue winning. I'm not too confident in Virginia on that one, but I'm more confident than I am in Purdue. Seton Hall and Michigan State. Gonna have to go with Michigan State on this one, though Seton Hall could pull off the upset. There's a lot of potential upsets in these brackets. So there are my Elite 8 teams for a Final Four berth. California and Miami, Florida, the 4 and 3 seeds. Who do I have going? I have Miami, Florida. That will not be a popular pick. They could even get upset very early, even by Wichita State. But that is a huge, huge risk on my part. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. If you think I'm wrong, just go ahead and put it in the comment section. Oregon and Oklahoma. I think Buddy Hield's going to lead Oklahoma past Oregon. Oregon's amazing. This might be one of their program's best seasons in their history. It's going to come to an end at the hands of Buddy Hield. UK and West Virginia. This is a rematch of the John Wall team versus West Virginia when West Virginia won. But I think UK will make it to the Final Four. I know a lot of you guys know I'm a UK fan, but I think that this is their year to make it to the Final Four. Kind of like the Aaron Harrison team from a couple years ago. Virginia and Michigan State, a rematch of last year. I think Michigan State is going to win here to make it to the Final Four. Denzel Valentine, Malcolm Brogdon, 2 Player of the Year candidates. I think Valentine's going to lead his team over Brogdon's Virginia team. So, Final Four. Miami, Florida versus Oklahoma, UK and Michigan State. So the first one, Oklahoma and Miami, Florida. I'm going with Buddy Hield and Oklahoma. The 2 seed versus the 3 seed, and the 2 seed wins. And in this one, UK and Michigan State, the 4 seed and the 2 seed. I am going with Michigan State on this one. I didn't have a single number 1 seed in the Final Four. That could be a huge mistake. But I think that the bracket time is for risks. And that's what I think is going to happen. California advancing past Kansas. That's my biggest upset of the entire bracket. So, in the final game, the national championship game, Oklahoma versus Michigan State, the battle between the 2 top contenders for the Player of the Year, Buddy Hield and Denzel Valentine, I'm going with Michigan State as the 2016 NCAA Tournament champions. I think Michigan State's a more complete team, as they showed in their Big Ten championship game, because they're Big Ten champions, and Oklahoma weren't able to get that last second shot by Buddy Hield able to count, and they ended up losing the Big 12 championship. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Leave likes if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment about your own opinions. Who do you have winning the championship? What are your upsets? I want to know from you guys what you think of this tournament bracket, your own and this one. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And I shall see you guys later. Hope this helped you out.